in America in the motion picture industry. Of course, you've had a public life here, but it's a totally different life.
Very different. When I was acting, of course, I loved acting. I loved working in the theater and pictures. I didn't particularly like being a movie star.
Grace Kelly had it all: beauty, fame, and fortune. But behind her glamorous image was a hidden truth. While everyone admired her fairy tale romance with the Prince of Monaco, few knew it led to her losing her wealth and ultimately her tragic death.
You know what I mean? There's a big difference. I love working at my craft. I didn't like having to have a public, the public appearance of being a movie star.
In her final hours, Grace had only a few $1,000s left, a stark contrast to her once lavish lifestyle. What really caused her untimely death? Is there more to her story than we know? A recent documentary reveals the deepest, darkest secrets of her life. Join us as we uncover the untold story of Grace Kelly. Before delving into the revelations and struggles of Grace Kelly, it's important we take a trip back in time to the early life of the iconic Grace. Born into a wealthy family in Philadelphia in 1929, young Grace's life was far from ordinary. Her father, John B. Kelly Sr., was a celebrated Olympic athlete, winning 3 gold medals for sculling. Her family's influence extended beyond sports, with her uncles making names for themselves in vaudeville and playwriting. Despite this privileged upbringing, Grace had a burning passion for the dramatic arts. At the tender age of 12, she started performing in school plays and dance programs, showcasing her natural talent and charisma. But her dreams of a career in acting weren't met with universal approval. Her father, a traditional man, was skeptical of the entertainment industry and its potential pitfalls. He believed acting was not a suitable path for his daughter, and his disapproval created tension between Grace and her family. However, Grace's passion for acting couldn't be suppressed. Despite her father's reservations, she secretly pursued her dream, attending the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York City in 1947. She worked tirelessly to perfect her craft, practicing her lines with a tape recorder and immersing herself in the world of theater. Despite her father's disapproval, Grace Kelly's passion for acting burned brightly. However, she found a temporary outlet for her artistic aspirations in the world of modeling. In 1947, she signed with the prestigious Walter Thornton Model Agency, a decision that would change the trajectory of her life. Her early acting pursuits led her to the stage, where she made her Broadway debut in 1949 in Strindberg's The Father, alongside Raymond Massey. Her dedication and talent quickly paid off, and she soon landed roles in television dramas and began her ascent to stardom. Grace's modeling career took off, and she quickly became a sought-after model, gracing the covers of renowned magazines like Cosmopolitan and Redbook. Her elegance, poise, and classic beauty made her a favorite among photographers and fashion designers. This early success not only provided her with financial independence, but also exposed her to the world of entertainment, paving the way for her eventual foray into acting. But Grace wasn't content with just being a pretty face. She had her sights set on something bigger, a career that would challenge her and allow her to express her full potential. With her modeling career as a springboard, she made the bold decision to move to New York City, where she would continue to pursue her dreams and ultimately find her true calling. But her journey wasn't all glitz and glamour. The aspiring actress faced a series of challenges and setbacks that tested her resilience and determination. In her early days, Grace took on a variety of modeling gigs to make ends meet. She even found herself promoting bug sprays and cigarettes, a far cry from the luxurious brands she would later be associated with. But these humble beginnings were crucial stepping stones in her path to fame. They taught her the importance of hard work, perseverance, and seizing every opportunity that came her way. It was during this time that Grace caught the attention of television producer Delbert Mann. He recognized her innate talent and captivating presence, casting her as the lead in a television adaptation of the Sinclair Lewis novel Bethel Meriday. This was a significant break for Grace, launching her into the world of television acting and opening doors to a multitude of opportunities. Grace quickly became a sought-after actress in the burgeoning television industry. She appeared in nearly 60 live television programs, showcasing her versatility and range. Her performances were met with critical acclaim, and she quickly established herself as a rising star. In recognition of her talent and potential, Grace was honored by Theatre World magazine as the most promising personality of the Broadway stage of 1950. This accolade further solidified her reputation as a talented actress with a bright future ahead of her. Her big break came in 1952 when she was cast opposite Gary Cooper in the classic Western film High Noon. Although she faced some criticism for her performance, Grace remained undeterred. Her determination to prove her critics wrong and her unwavering belief in her own abilities pushed her to seek out even more challenging roles. This drive led her to the film Mogambo, 1953, a romantic adventure set in Africa where she starred alongside Clark Gable and Ava Gardner. The film was a critical and commercial success, earning Grace an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actress and solidifying her status as a rising star. Mogambo marked a turning point in Grace's career as she began to receive widespread recognition and acclaim. Her captivating beauty, elegant demeanor, and undeniable talent made her a favorite among audiences and critics alike. Her journey to stardom reached its peak when she began collaborating with the legendary director Alfred Hitchcock. Their partnership would prove to be a match made in cinematic heaven, with Grace starring in 3 of Hitchcock's most iconic films: Dial M for Murder, 1954, Rear Window, 1954, and To Catch a Thief, 1955. These films, filled with suspense, intrigue, and romance, showcased Grace's versatility as an actress and her ability to captivate audiences with her effortless charm. In 1954, Grace Kelly's career reached a turning point with her captivating performance in Alfred Hitchcock's thriller, Dial M for Murder. Starring alongside the renowned Ray Milland, Grace's portrayal of Margot Wendies, a wealthy socialite entangled in a murder plot, captivated audiences and critics alike. However, behind the scenes, a scandalous affair was brewing between Grace and her co-star. Despite the personal turmoil, Grace's professional star continued to rise. Her exceptional performance in The Country Girl, 1954, earned her the prestigious Academy Award for Best Actress, solidifying her status as one of Hollywood's leading ladies. But her success came at a cost. The tabloids were abuzz with rumors of her numerous affairs with co-stars, threatening to overshadow her achievements and tarnish her image. In the midst of this whirlwind of speculation and gossip, fate intervened in a most unexpected way. At the 1955 Cannes Film Festival, a chance encounter with Prince Rainier III of Monaco would forever change the course of Grace Kelly's life. This meeting, set against the backdrop of the glamorous film festival, would mark the beginning of a real-life fairy tale, as Grace transitioned from Hollywood royalty to actual royalty. The stage was set for a real-life fairy tale when Grace Kelly, at the height of her Hollywood fame, received an invitation to meet Prince Rainier III of Monaco for a photo session at his palace. Despite some initial hiccups and scheduling conflicts, the two finally met on May 6, 1955, and sparks flew. The connection between the glamorous actress and the charming prince was undeniable, but their worlds were vastly different. Grace was a Hollywood starlet, used to the glitz and glamour of the film industry, while Rainier was a ruler, bound by duty and tradition. As their whirlwind romance unfolded, the world watched with bated breath. Could their love survive the scrutiny and expectations that came with their public roles? Would their love story have a fairy tale ending? After a year of courting, filled with romantic gestures and a whirlwind of emotions, Grace and Prince Rainier made a life-altering decision. They would get married. But their wedding wouldn't be a simple affair. To honor Monaco's traditions, they had to have two ceremonies: a civil one, where they legally tied the knot, and a religious one, where they exchanged vows in the eyes of the church. The union of Grace Kelly and Prince Rainier III of Monaco was a royal affair that captivated the world. The civil ceremony, held on April 18, 1956, was a grand yet intimate event, attended by 3,000 Monegasque citizens in the palace throne room. It was a formal and solemn occasion, marking the legal union of the Hollywood starlet and the European prince. But the real spectacle came the following day with the religious ceremony at St. Nicholas Cathedral in Monaco. This lavish event was broadcast to over 30 million television viewers worldwide, setting a new standard for media coverage of royal weddings. It was a moment that solidified Grace's transformation from a Hollywood actress to a real-life princess. At the center of this fairy tale wedding was Grace Kelly's breathtaking wedding gown. Designed by the acclaimed Helen Rose from MGM Studios, it took 6 weeks and the meticulous work of 36 seamstresses to create this masterpiece. The gown, adorned with intricate lace and delicate details, became an iconic symbol of elegance and grace, forever associated with Grace Kelly's transformation into Princess Grace of Monaco. As she walked down the aisle, Grace exuded a radiant beauty and a quiet confidence that captivated the world. She had officially become a princess, leaving behind her acting career and embracing her new role with unwavering dedication. Grace's transition from Hollywood to royalty was met with both admiration and envy. But she approached her new responsibilities with humility and a genuine desire to serve her people. She immersed herself in her royal duties, attending official events, supporting charitable causes, and becoming a beloved figure in Monaco. But Princess Grace's impact extended far beyond the palace walls. She was a passionate advocate for children's welfare and the arts, establishing the Princess Grace Foundation to support emerging artists and launching initiatives to improve the lives of children around the world. Her philanthropic work left a lasting legacy, cementing her status as a compassionate and caring leader. Princess Grace's royal duties extended far beyond the borders of Monaco. She traveled the world as a goodwill ambassador, promoting art institutions and charitable causes. Her passion for making a positive impact was evident in her tireless efforts to support various organizations and initiatives. She even authored her own book, sharing her experiences and insights with the world, leaving behind a legacy of compassion and generosity. But behind the glamorous facade of a princess, Grace struggled with the challenges of her new role. The once charming Prince Rainier revealed a controlling and temperamental side that put a strain on their marriage. Despite the joy of motherhood with the birth of their son and daughter, Grace felt increasingly isolated and unhappy within the confines of the palace. The glitz and glamour of her Hollywood days seemed like a distant memory, replaced by the stifling weight of royal expectations and responsibilities. Grace longed for an escape, a chance to rediscover her passion for acting and reclaim a part of her identity that had been lost in the transition to royalty. Then, a glimmer of hope appeared in the form of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Alfred Hitchcock, the master of suspense, offered her the lead role in his upcoming thriller, Marnie. And the paycheck? A cool $1 million, a fortune at the time. It was a tempting proposition, a chance to step back into the spotlight and reignite her acting career. But could she really abandon her royal duties and risk the wrath of her husband and the Monegasque people? The lure of Hitchcock's offer wasn't just about the hefty paycheck for Grace Kelly. It was a lifeline, a chance to reclaim the independence and agency she felt slipping away within the walls of the palace. The opportunity to step back into the world of acting, to feel the rush of embodying a complex character, reignited a spark within her that had been dimmed by the weight of her royal duties. In a moment of raw honesty, Grace sought comfort and counsel from Father Francis Tucker, Prince Rainier's confidant and spiritual advisor. Over a shared glass of whiskey in the privacy of the palace, she poured out her heart, revealing the inner turmoil that had been plaguing her for years. Rainier's controlling nature and explosive temper had become an unbearable burden for Grace. Despite the joy of motherhood and the privilege of her position, she felt suffocated and trapped within the gilded cage of her royal life. The 32-year-old princess found herself yearning for the freedom and excitement of her former life, where she could express herself creatively and pursue her own passions. The palace, once a symbol of grandeur and luxury, had transformed into a prison, its opulent walls closing in on her. The very things that had once dazzled her now felt like chains, binding her to a life she no longer recognized. The 2014 film Prince of Monaco, starring Nicole Kidman as the iconic princess, aimed to unravel the complexities of Grace Kelly's life after her fairy tale wedding. However, the film sparked controversy and faced criticism for its alleged glamorization and historical inaccuracies. The film delves into Grace's inner turmoil and desire for freedom within her marriage to Prince Rainier III. Drawing on extensive research and interviews with palace insiders, the script paints a picture of a woman yearning for a life beyond the confines of the palace walls. It reveals a side of Grace Kelly rarely seen by the public, a woman struggling to reconcile her personal desires with her royal duties. The Monegasque royal family expressed apprehension about the film, fearing it might break a long-standing Hollywood taboo by revealing the truth behind Grace's troubled marriage. The script portrays Rainier as distant and preoccupied, but it notably omits allegations of his infidelity, a key aspect of their relationship that has been widely documented by biographers. Wendy Lee, a biographer of Princess Grace, criticized the film for its superficial portrayal of Grace's life and its failure to delve into the darker side of Rainier's behavior. She argues that the film glosses over his alleged promiscuity and cruelty, painting an incomplete and potentially misleading picture of their marriage. While the film Prince of Monaco portrayed a somewhat idealized version of Grace Kelly's life as a princess, her biographer Wendy Lee's book, True Grace, paints a more nuanced and complex picture. Lee reveals that Prince Rainier III, despite his initial charm, had a darker side. He was a smoker who allegedly indulged in extramarital affairs shortly after their honeymoon, even while Grace was pregnant with their first child. Lee claims that Rainier had at least 3 mistresses within months of their marriage, a stark contrast to the devoted husband portrayed in the film. This revelation adds another layer of complexity to Grace's internal struggles and her desire for independence within the confines of her marriage. The book also delves into Grace's personal challenges as she adapted to life in Monaco. She struggled with loneliness and homesickness, finding comfort in the kitchen as she prepared familiar American dishes for Rainier. However, her struggles went beyond emotional distress. She also faced health issues like conjunctivitis, hay fever, and insomnia, which further contributed to her growing dissatisfaction with her royal life. In a rare moment of vulnerability, Grace began writing a secret letter to her mother, pouring out her unhappiness and expressing her desire to end her marriage. This glimpse into her private thoughts reveals the depth of her despair and her yearning for freedom. While Prince of Monaco portrays Grace's inner turmoil and her longing for liberation, it only scratches the surface of her complicated marriage to Prince Rainier III. Grace's unhappiness was evident, not just in her demeanor, but also in her struggles to adhere to the strict rules of the royal family. She was expected to always smile, never voice her own opinions, and be the perfect picture of a princess at Rainier's side. This stifled her independent spirit and created a growing resentment within her. During a New Year's Eve party, tensions between Grace and Rainier reached a boiling point. When Grace engaged in a heated debate with French President Charles de Gaulle, Rainier's anger erupted, revealing his expectations of her to remain silent and submissive. This incident, along with reports from biographers suggesting that Rainier's controlling behavior sometimes turned violent, hinted at a darker side to their seemingly perfect marriage. When Grace expressed her desire to accept Hitchcock's offer to star in Marnie, Rainier initially appeared supportive, but later he changed his tune, demanding that she reject the role. This pivotal moment exposed the power dynamics in their relationship and the limitations placed on Grace's autonomy. She was torn between her personal desires and her duty as a princess, a conflict that would ultimately shape the trajectory of her life. Despite the glitz and glamour of her royal life, Grace Kelly was wrestling with a deep sense of unhappiness. Feeling trapped and suffocated by the strict rules and expectations of the palace, she even contemplated divorce. She secretly consulted an American lawyer to explore her options, but was devastated to learn that she would likely lose custody of her beloved children if she left Rainier. Faced with this heartbreaking reality, Grace reluctantly abandoned her thoughts of divorce. She felt trapped, resigning herself to a life in Monaco that felt increasingly suffocating. It was a heartbreaking decision, but one that she felt was necessary for the well-being of her children. The film Grace of Monaco attempted to shed light on this hidden struggle, portraying Grace's internal turmoil and her yearning for freedom. While the film faced criticism for its historical accuracy and its portrayal of Prince Rainier, it did offer a glimpse into the complex emotions and difficult choices that Grace faced in her royal life. But the story doesn't end there. Just as Grace was starting to come to terms with her fate, tragedy struck. On September 13, 1982, while driving with her daughter Princess Stephanie, Grace suffered a stroke and lost control of her car, plunging down a steep slope. The world watched in horror as the news of the accident broke. Initially, there was hope for her recovery, but the following day, the palace announced the devastating news. Grace Kelly had passed away, leaving behind a legacy of beauty, grace, and a story of unfulfilled dreams. The tragic car crash that claimed Grace Kelly's life was shrouded in mystery and conflicting accounts. Initially, there was confusion about who was driving the car, with some reports suggesting that it was Princess Stephanie, Grace's 17-year-old daughter. The first responder at the scene had mistakenly reported pulling Stephanie from the driver's side, leading to this misconception. However, Stephanie later clarified that the passenger door was severely damaged, forcing her to exit through the driver's side. It became clear that Grace and Stephanie were heading to Paris, where Stephanie was starting school. Grace's chauffeur had offered to drive them in her 11-year-old Rover, but Grace insisted on driving herself due to limited space with their luggage. It was a decision that would have devastating consequences. The accident occurred just 2 miles outside the village of La Turbie, as Grace failed to navigate a sharp turn. The car, losing control, plunged down a steep 120-foot slope, rolling multiple times before coming to rest. Stephanie, who survived the crash with minor injuries, recounted her mother's desperate cries for help as she struggled to stop the car. "Mommy kept saying, 'I can't stop. The brakes don't work. I can't stop,'" Stephanie revealed. After the accident, both Grace and Stephanie were rushed to the hospital. While Stephanie thankfully escaped with minor injuries and was released the next day, Grace's condition was far more dire. She had suffered a brain hemorrhage before the crash, and the impact of the accident caused a second one. Tragically, she never woke up. The world mourned the loss of the beloved princess and Hollywood icon, who was taken too soon at the age of 52. Her funeral, held at Monaco's Cathedral of Our Lady Immaculate on September 18, 1982, was a grand affair. Over 400 people attended, including celebrities like Cary Grant, dignitaries like Nancy Reagan and Danielle Mitterrand, and even royalty like Empress Farah of Iran and Princess Diana. It was a somber occasion, filled with grief and tributes to a woman who had touched the hearts of so many. But even as the world mourned, whispers of a darker possibility began to circulate. Could Grace's death be more than just a tragic accident? Some speculated that the Grimaldi royal family was cursed, with a long history of misfortune and tragedy following them throughout the years. Was this just idle gossip, or was there some truth to these claims? The story of the Grimaldi curse is a fascinating one. Legend has it that the family's founder, François Grimaldi, tricked his way into seizing control of Monaco in 1297, disguised as a monk. A spurned lover, so the story goes, cursed the Grimaldis, declaring that they would never find happiness in marriage. This curse, passed down through generations, seemed to manifest in a series of tragic events that plagued the royal family. The Grimaldi royal family, who have ruled Monaco for centuries, are said to be cursed with a dark history of misfortune and heartbreak. It all started with Prince Rainier I, Grace Kelly's husband's great-grandfather, who did a good deed by giving Monaco a constitution in 1911. However, the curse supposedly predates his reign. Legend has it that in the 13th century, another Prince Rainier, this one known as Rainier I, did a terrible thing. He kidnapped and assaulted a woman he thought was a fair maiden, but she turned out to be a witch. In her fury, she cursed the entire Grimaldi family, declaring, "Never will a Grimaldi find true happiness in marriage." This curse has supposedly echoed through the generations, leaving a trail of tragedy and heartbreak in its wake. The Grimaldis have been plagued by scandals, divorces, and rumors of infidelity, earning them the dubious title of Europe's most dysfunctional family. The marriage of Grace Kelly and Prince Rainier III was no exception to this cursed legacy. Despite their glamorous image and fairy tale wedding, whispers of infidelity and unhappiness followed them throughout their lives. Was this just bad luck, or was there a dark force at play, fulfilling the witch's prophecy? The shocking and untimely death of Princess Grace in a car crash in 1982 only fueled the rumors of a Grimaldi curse. Was it truly an accident, or was there something darker lurking beneath the surface? The unanswered questions surrounding her death only deepened the mystery surrounding the family, leaving many to believe that there was more to their story than met the eye. But the secrets didn't end with her death. In the documentary Grace Kelly, The Missing Millions, a shocking truth was revealed about her finances. It turned out that at the time of her passing, Grace had only a measly $10,000 in her bank account and a small cottage in Ireland. This was a bombshell for everyone who thought she was living a life of luxury and abundance. The documentary revealed that Grace had paid a whopping $2 million dowry to marry Prince Rainier III. That's the equivalent of a jaw-dropping $20 million today. This enormous sum wiped out her savings and inheritance, a sacrifice she made for love and her new role as a princess. Grace's decision to marry Rainier came at a high price. She not only left behind her successful acting career and the glitz and glamour of Hollywood, but she also gave up her financial independence. It was a decision that would have a lasting impact on her life, one that the public was largely unaware of until the documentary aired. Despite the financial hardships and personal sacrifices, Grace Kelly embraced her role as a princess with grace and determination. She dedicated herself to her family and the people of Monaco, becoming a beloved figure known for her elegance, compassion, and philanthropic work. But the revelation of her limited financial resources raises questions about the true cost of royalty. Did the pressure to maintain a lavish lifestyle and fulfill her royal duties contribute to her financial difficulties? Was the glamorous facade masking a deeper struggle with financial insecurity? The contrast between her public image and her private reality paints a more nuanced and complex picture of Princess Grace. It reminds us that even those who seem to have it all can face challenges and hardships behind closed doors. It also highlights the sacrifices that often come with marrying into royalty, as individuals give up their personal lives and financial independence for the sake of duty and tradition. Grace Kelly's story is not just a fairy tale, It's a tale of resilience, sacrifice, and the complexities of love and family. Her legacy extends beyond her Hollywood glamour, as she is remembered not only for her beauty and talent, but also for her dedication to her new role and her efforts to make a positive impact on the world. For bookworms and music lovers, Grace's personal collection of over 9,000 books and sheet music is now housed in the Princess Grace Irish Library. This vast collection, a testament to her love for literature and the arts, is a treasure trove for researchers and enthusiasts alike. In Monaco, the principality she called home, Grace's memory is honored in a truly breathtaking way. A rose garden in the Fontvieille district, adorned with 4,000 roses, is a tranquil oasis dedicated to her. A hybrid tea rose, aptly named Rosa Princesse de Monaco, blooms in this garden, a symbol of Grace's timeless beauty and elegance. But that's not all. Monaco's most expensive street, Avenue Princesse Grace, is also named after her, as is a boulevard in Nice, France. These iconic landmarks are constant reminders of Grace's presence and her impact on the region. Grace Kelly's legacy even extends beyond Monaco's borders. In 2007, an international exhibition titled The Grace Kelly Years, Princess of Monaco, showcased her personal belongings, letters, fashion accessories, and sound recordings, offering a fascinating glimpse into her extraordinary life. In the world of sports, the Princess Grace Challenge Cup at the Henley Royal Regatta honors her passion for athleticism and her support of rowing. Luxury hotels around the globe have even created suites inspired by her elegance and style, allowing guests to experience a touch of Grace Kelly's glamour. However, not all portrayals of Grace Kelly have been met with praise. While Cheryl Ladd's 1983 made-for-TV movie was well received, the 2014 film Grace of Monaco, starring Nicole Kidman, faced criticism for its dramatic embellishments and lack of depth. It failed to capture the complexities and nuances of Grace's life, leaving many viewers disappointed. Despite the mixed reception of some portrayals, Grace Kelly's real-life story continues to fascinate and inspire. In 2022, the Paris Mint issued commemorative silver and gold coins to mark the 40th anniversary of her passing. These coins, approved by Prince Albert II, are a testament to her enduring legacy and the ongoing interest in her extraordinary life. Grace Kelly's story is a captivating blend of glamour and tragedy, filled with sacrifices made for love and family. Her journey from Hollywood starlet to Monaco princess continues to intrigue and inspire, offering valuable lessons about the complexities of fame and the unpredictable nature of life. Her legacy is a testament to her resilience, her compassion, and her unwavering spirit. She was a woman who embraced her roles as an actress, a princess, and a mother with grace and determination, leaving behind a legacy that continues to captivate and inspire audiences around the world.